Hello, we're back. And another exciting episode of Atlantis and STS-79. So, as we mentioned, the decals are done and we're working on payload. But in addition to the payload, since this thing is going to be docked to mirror, and I've already built a mirror model some years ago, it needs a new base because mirror is going to be now rotated 90 degrees from the way I had it displayed previously. So as you can see here, there's a base. So I went to Michael's Crafts and got a nice, it's roughly 8 by 10 slab of basswood, all edged. And I gave it a little sealer coat, and I'm just going to do my usual spray can flat black, nothing fancy. So the orbiter is going to sit on this, and as you can see, we've got a good progress on the main payload structure. So how this is going to work, mirror is going to sit on here. It's already got, when I build these things for display, I will install various shapes of typically brass or aluminum rods, and this is a little square rod, and you can telescope these into the next size up, so it fits very snugly. So this is going to be the docking port here. You can see I've got the tunnel made up, and the SpaceLab modified into a SpaceHab with all these little features. So let's see how this works. So first let's look at the base. So the base mirror is going to be at a 25-degree angle to the orbiter, which is why it's at this angle, and the mirror will be on these axes. You can see here a square metal rod jammed into a hole in the wooden base, and similarly a back adapter I just built out of bits of plastic, which goes in the slot that's at the bottom of the orbiter kit, and that'll fit into another hole here on the base. So we'll put this off to the side, and now the payload, again, we'll set this down. And we got this rod, and the whole thing comes out. And so the next step is going to be to cover all these in foil and spray paint it white. And these are, again, just modified parts from Revell and Dragon kits. This is just pieces of Plastruct tubing or evergreen tubing. And I added some larger bits of tubing, which I then made shaped into a round over the top, and that would be these flex joints. And I added some ribbing, just put some, this is I think 30 by 40 thousandths, wrapped it around and glued it down, and that's going to be attach points for the struts that hold it in, and added some features to the front face of the SpaceHab, and then just some things for this to attach to. And so I'm going to put foil on all this. I've got a new wrap for the bottom. This was a test version, and that's just going to pop in here. And you can see I got the front and the back bulkheads the same as I did on Challenger, just printed it, and I'll add photo etch railings and details to both the front and aft. That's going to have to be done before I install the payload, because I won't be able to do that after the payload's installed. It's just not going to be enough room. And that's the trick on some of these things where you're heavily modifying something. You have to plan in advance the sequence how you build things, because you might find, hey, if I do this step first, then it makes it more difficult to do another step. So you've got to kind of do a lot of dry fitting and testing. It's going to look something like this. And then these will just pop in there. Ta-da, like that. So anyway, the next step, probably working on that today, is to cover all these in foil, to install the liner like that. And then I can glue these in solidly, and then add all the little fiddly strut work, which I've got here on this drawing. As you can see, all these little struts for the docking module. And then eventually I'll need bridge fittings to go on the sides for the payload. And these are just printed, covered in super glue to give them some stiffness, and I'll cut them out and glue them on like I did before. So that's where we are. Oh, here's my new payload bay liner. I got to curl that and drop it in there. So it's coming along. Oh, and then of course I got to do the doors, which have more photo etch. So lots more fun to come, and there'll be more videos as we do this, and eventually there'll be an updated Space in Miniature book coming out summer of 2021 that describes this whole process. So stay tuned for more. Take care. Be safe. Happy modeling.